My heart's telling me yes. My lady bits are telling me it's a trap.
Hello, good morning. It feels like that ended very abruptly, right?
Did it?
I don't know. Either way, I wasn't ready. Hello, good morning, BBs.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan, and we missed you on Monday.
Oh, BBs,
Ugh.
please. We're out of good candy.
First of all, M&Ms are delicious.
Yeah, but I don't even want to fuck this green one. These candies don't even taste fuckable.
At some point, we have to let this go. I'm going to eliminate all M&Ms from the premises just so the joke stops. Hi, good morning, everyone. We're very glad you're here. Thank you for starting your morning with us. We have so much news to get to. I also see a lot of you sweet babies in chat saying you ordered your pickle dice. There have been so many comments about which side they're on.
Pickles, yes. Pickles, yes.
Nah, man, I've got the sticker and everything.
I mean, if you've got the sticker,
yeah,
then and you're still wrong, then you're extremely wrong.
I don't think that's how
that
that works.
You have doubled down on being wrong. Get your pickle dice.
Yeah.
I made 100,000 of them, and so we really need to sell 100,000 of them.
He's shoved them all in this closet here?
I could no longer pay the rent on the warehouse where we're supposed to keep the physical goods.
Uh-huh.
So, buy $100,000 pickle dice. No, wait. Buy 100,000 sets of pickle dice. They're not $100,000 each, although we should have done like one limited edition set.
That was $100,000?
Yeah.
Well, would anything have been special about it, or would it have been like an NFT?
You BBs would have bought it, right? One of you BBs would have bought it.
Someone did also say I'm about to buy a Dazzle mouse pad.
Well.
We also do have Failed Safe merch. Very exciting.
People are commenting on my shirt, and I just want them to know that it says The Mummy, parenthetical 1999, is perfect. It's not just a Rick and Evie shirt, even though it is a Rick and Evie shirt.
It's one step better.
It's so much more. BBs, it's one of my favorite holidays today, which is Nintendo Speculation Day.
Yay, Nintendo Speculation Day. Usually they don't make us wait this long.
2 p.m. is a lot. Usually we're like, I can't believe they have the audacity to announce all the news right after our show.
Right, or during our show.
It's
fuck. So inconsiderate.
Not only will they announce stuff during our show, but they'll announce stuff during our show and they'll be like, don't you watch along with this.
Right.
We'll send you to prison.
Yeah.
And we're like, what am I supposed to do about that?
Right. I just want to watch along. I just want to share it with the BBs.
And my answer is, go to prison. But Saige won't let me.
Yeah, I do try to keep us out of prison.
Do you? Only in certain ways. That's why we're good friends.
You're so right. Because there are the times you keep me out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
And there are the times I keep you out of prison.
When there was only one set of footprints in the prison. That's when one of us successfully kept ourselves out.
Wait, no, that's bad. That means
one of us is going to end up in prison.
No, the other one is
carrying
the... Then one of us was carrying the other out of prison. It was like Prison Break. I got all of the plans tattooed on my body.
Or maybe it was like a Shawshank type situation where we've been in prison all our lives and we're very old, and then they finally let us go and we're like 90 and one of us is carrying the other out in slow motion, like a Frank Darabont movie.
I can see me at 90 carrying you out of prison.
Oh yeah, because at that point I'm 126.
Right.
Folks,
that is the correct math.
Nintendo Speculation Time is the most wonderful time of the year. Nintendo has said that today's Direct will be focusing on games that will be announced or that will be releasing in the first half of 2022, and it will be about 40 minutes long. This has led to a lot of speculation, and I want people to know. I want people to remember just a couple things. Number one, 40 minutes isn't as long as you think it's going to be.
No, the last few have been 40 minutes. That's been the pretty standard for Nintendo Directs lately.
And then number two, half of those games are going to be a montage of indie titles that you just didn't know were coming.
Yeah, and some will be excellent. You'll be very excited for it. But if you have all of your hopes set on these larger Nintendo games, if you only want information about Splatoon, about Breath of the Wild 2, right?
Now, here's the thing, though. If we had to speculate, I do believe Splatoon will be heavily represented.
Do you think so? Do you think it's a first half?
I think it's a first
Oh,
half.
we've just gotten so little information about it. I feel like they've completely abandoned updating us on Splatoon in so many ways, where they'll just give us a little thing that it's at that point where the game doesn't feel real to me right now.
Yeah.
We've talked before about like what makes a game real for you and what like allows you to get excited. And I feel like Splatoon hit it and then went back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because they gave us the full intro trailer.
Yeah.
They've given us a lot of gameplay.
Mhm.
And then they pulled back. But that's sort of, Nintendo does that. They're like, you're all excited. And then they're like, okay, well, that's what we've got until release. And I think release is going to happen before the summer. Here's my heartbreaking prediction. I don't think we get as much Breath of the Wild 2 as we think we're going to get.
Well, now, if we get any, that solidifies that it has to be coming out in the first half of the year.
I think we get a title. I think we might get a title, and we might get an apology for further delays.
But those...
We're going to get, Kirby Apocalypse is coming in the first half of this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to have a huge feature on that. But also, I feel like we've personally seen enough of that. Not that I'm not excited for it. I'm thoroughly excited for it. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, yes, I'm in. Just give me the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't spend
same.
too much time on it because, like, I've seen everything I need to see. I am sold. Show me something new.
I don't know if they will. There have been some rumors about what new things are going to be coming out of the woodwork for this.
Mhm.
Number one, my prediction for Metroid Prime 4 is Metroid Prime 4 is going to be pushed to the new hardware, which is going to come out 2 years from now.
Okay. All right.
That's what I think is happening with Metroid Prime 4. This Batman rumor is very interesting. Did you see the Arkham Collection rumor?
I didn't, but that would make sense, bringing the Arkham Collection to Switch.
It would make sense. I hope it's not streaming. I hope it's literal games on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a retail listing for the Batman Arkham Collection that got pulled down last week. So it's entirely possible that's happening.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people are saying there might be a new Mario Kart. Here's the thing. The Switch is so long in the tooth now that I don't know how many more big first-party releases we have on the calendar.
Interesting.
I don't think they're going to announce. Some people are like, they're going to announce the new hardware. And I'm like, nah, they just started people buying those OLEDs.
Absolutely. And they did specify that this was on Switch games.
Switch games for the first half of the year.
So this is very specific about what it's going to be. I worry, because you talk about the Breath of the Wild 2 possibility of another delay or like an apology for delays.
Mm-hmm.
That would push it out of first half.
What was their current? Currently, I think they just said, we're sorry, we're working on it.
Yeah, we don't have a release date. We don't even have an estimated release date, I don't believe. It just said 2022 is it, sometime in 2022. I so hope that this is the day we get confirmation that it's first half. I'm going to go in with that optimism and allow myself to get disappointed.
I want it too. I think there's a good chance that Breath of the Wild 2 is now holiday 2022.
I also see that as entirely possible.
But they've released Breath of the Wild was a March release, was a spring release.
Yeah.
So, but they had new hardware to push at that point.
Right. And Lord knows we're not getting it in March. Because
how exciting would it be if it was
next
happening
month.
in March?
That's next month.
And nobody leaked it. There was no hourly GameStop employee that was like, fuck the man. Here's the leak from the system.
Not one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
87 Games said, I have way too many hopes for N64 online games. I want 20 more games to drop. Honestly, same. And I think that you and I are in the minority on that because I think a lot of people have not been super stoked with the N64 releases. But I enjoy it very much. And I would love more N64 games. I know that they're streaming and I know that they've been imperfect in many ways, but going back and playing them on my N64 certainly isn't perfect.
Yeah, they're working on them. They're working on them. They did say that they did say that the expansion pass or Switch Online is going down immediately after the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think the expansion pass in particular. So I think we are going to get some new ROMs.
Yeah.
Get some new ROMs for your Switch tomorrow. I think we might get Bayonetta 2. Or Bayonetta 3. Where do we think Bayonetta 3 is?
So we've only gotten, I believe, that one trailer for Bayonetta, and that was at the just before the holidays direct, wasn't it? And it was very cinematic.
Platinum could have it out before halfway through the year.
I could see Bayonetta, yeah, because I don't think that's one that they save for holiday release.
Yeah, that's more like keep the fans happy at this point.
Maybe in early summer.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh my goodness, BTP Knives. From your mouth to God's ears, a new Chibi Robo. They've done Chibi Robo so dirty. They've done Chibi Robo so dirty over the years. Do you remember when we all bought that DS game just to get the Chibi Robo amiibo? I paid $40 for Chibi Robo Ziplash. The most garbage game I've ever played in my life, just to have that Chibi Robo hunk of plastic sitting on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And then that amiibo does like nothing in any other game. And I bought it just for the amiibo, and they knew that, but damn, they could have given me an actual game with it. A new Donkey Kong, I mean,
They're not going to be announcing, I don't see them announcing a lot of new titles today that aren't like indie titles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them announcing any large mainline titles today because this focuses on that first half of the year release. So these are only things that would be in your hands by June.
People are asking of Arceus DLC, and I think what Nintendo normally does is they'll mention how well Arceus is doing, and then let us know. They'll announce a Pokemon Direct.
Yeah.
And then in a couple weeks, there will be a Pokemon Direct where they announce the Arceus DLC.
Yeah, usually they let us get all of our hype out and then come down a little bit where people are kind of starting to falter and kind of starting to fall off of the game before they give us something new.
Oh, Triangle Strategy is probably... We'll probably see some more from that Triangle Strategy.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably see Advanced Wars, because Advanced Wars is coming in the spring.
Somebody said, are you going to discuss what they announced on Friday? Absolutely. We will go through everything that was in the Nintendo Direct on Friday here on this show.
But folks, that's been your Nintendo Direct speculation day. I think what we're saying is heavy Splatoon, heavy Kirby Apocalypse, light Breath of the Wild, some potential Bayonetta, and then definitely 100% a brand new Mario game, and definitely 100% no Prime, definitely no Metroid Prime.
No.
If there's Metroid Prime, I'll lose my mind, and I will happily be wrong. But you remember Saige when they said, do you remember when they said Metroid Prime 4 and then all they had was a logo?
Yeah.
The Ben Jack was on the same page. It's like, now it's a green logo instead of blue.
Look, it's the curse of the fours, right? Because like Fantastic Four, just a logo. All the fours are just cursed to be a logo forever.
Star Wars 4, universally the worst Star Wars.
All right. Y'all, we can finish games, but I have some very silly shit I want to talk about today. I'm very happy about silly shit.
Oh, we're going to get to silly shit. There's tons of silly shit. But I want to, while we're talking about the potential of Bayonetta 3, Hideki Kamiya got on Twitter and said, yo, let's talk about Scalebound.
Real quick, welcome in, Raiders. That's a Travis McElroy raid. Hi, good morning. Welcome to It's Too Early. We're very glad that you're here, and we appreciate you.
Trav, what up, baby boy?
Good morning. Good morning.
It's been a million. I hope you're well.
Oh my God, when the NDI just works.
That feeling when the NDI works.
I love when tech works.
You know that feeling when the NDI work AF?
Relatable.
So relatable, the content. Scalebound is coming, according to Hideki Kamiya.
Oh God, Anthony, no. Anthony, no. The buttons.
Platinum Games wants to revisit the canceled game. We saw that some of this stuff that was supposed to be in Scalebound made it into Bayonetta 3.
Right.
And Kamiya is like, hey, man, why don't we talk?
Did you like it?
Why don't we talk? In an interview with IGN Japan, Platinum President Inaba was like, hey, would you revisit this game? Would you ever revisit it? And Inaba was like, dude, Kamiya has always wanted to do Scalebound. We'd love to have a proper discussion with Microsoft. And then Kamiya, who famously is the grouchiest tweeter on all of the tweets, tweeted at Phil, at Uncle Phil, Big Daddy P3.
Phil Spencer.
And was like, yo, let's make it happen. Come on, Phil.
That's actually a direct quote of the tweet.
Let's go.
Anthony's not paraphrasing.
Yeah. Come on, Phil. Let's work together and do it. Literally, Phil, let's do it was the tweet. I would love that. I like more Platinum games in everything in my life.
Yeah, sure.
So many of my favorite games are Platinum games. Very interesting, especially because we know that Scalebound was, I don't want to say close to done, because if it was close to done, they would have just released it. It was going through some development issues, but it was a big deal for Microsoft at the time. They were really showcasing it, and it looked extremely interesting.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it. At this point, though, it's like a 5-year. It's like 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's an entire kind of from the ground up.
I think they're looking at Game Pass for sure for it. But if it's sitting there, I mean, Kamiya was like, dude, we did a lot of work on it. It's no use to Microsoft just sitting there. So we'd like to do something about it. Phil, let's do it together. Phil, hey.
Yo, Phil.
I've never badmouthed anybody in the industry. I'm just a sweet little man. I'm just sweet Hideki Kamiya. I've never said a wrong word to nobody.
Anthony, that's your demo reel.
That's my demo reel. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Now, somebody mentioned that Platinum Games also made the Legend of Korra game. And here's what I'm going to say about the Legend of Korra game.
I've never played it.
Unfairly maligned. The Legend of Korra came out as a downloadable title at $20 when we were not used to stuff like that. And it was $20 worth of game.
Okay.
It genuinely was. And people bagged on it at the time because they weren't used to that stuff. If you go back and you play the Legend of Korra, the fighting system is very good. The elemental fighting system is very good.
Now I kind of want to go back and play it.
It's plus the post game after you beat it and you can go back. Like the new game plus.
Yeah, I've pulled up a little bit of
good.
footage and this looks fun. It looks fun as hell.
It's pretty fun.
Mine did not
When the
work.
NDI just works AF. The vibes.
Did not.
Do you
that for
remember
me
the
today.
vibes and how immaculate they are?
Well, not today. Not on this day.
Not on this day when all we have is M&Ms.
M&Ms are a delicious candy, Anthony.
They're not even fuckable.
I need you to stop the M&M slander. There we go. Now it can work.
Listen,
That's just the intro. Hold on. God.
this is
IGN,
a
get us back to
very
the game.
good $20 downloadable game. It got some of the worst reviews in history
Wow.
because people were expecting. This was around the time that Platinum was experimenting with like downloadable games and smaller games.
Yeah. This is definitely a smaller game.
And when it came out, there was a little too much of this, though. I will say that
Interesting.
there's a little too much of this, too much of the sport, too much of the bending, the professional bending. But producer Dagger, you okay?
He's making a lot of noise down there.
Platinum was experimenting with smaller games, and they got kind of like raked over the coals for it, and I think it was unfair.
All right.
I think it was unfair.
Anthony, I have some news for you
Yeah,
about your Google Stadia.
Google Stadia, huge deal. Huge deal.
Anthony, of course, did believe greatly in the Google Stadia upon release.
so
How many Google
greatly.
Stadias did you have?
I had 4 Google Stadias,
Uh-huh.
and now I only have 1 Google Stadia. But that doesn't mean they're not going to send me more. For a while, they were just sending me Google Stadias. Let me tell you something. Google Stadia, any moment now.
Any minute now.
Any
Its
moment
time
now.
is coming. Well, about that.
I'm taking a very long sip, and I'll hold it in my mouth, and I'm sure that nothing will happen to surprise me.
Well, Google has come to the realization that maybe Google Stadia will not stand alone as a platform on its own. So the next viable option is to start licensing the Google Stadia technology out to other companies. And that is pretty much the entire direction they're taking now with the Google Stadia.
Listen, Google Stadia's streaming tech is really good.
It is.
Google Stadia's whole idea and strategy and viability as a game platform and number of games and number of friends that you can play games with,
Yeah.
not good.
Right. So they're about to be licensing that out for other companies to white label the Google Stadia technology. People could just put a name on Google Stadias. But however, that's how you get things like the Soulja Boy console. The Soulja Boy console could have been a Google fucking Stadia.
You could put he could have put Google Stadia, the Google Stadia app on his Android gaming devices that he was selling.
Yeah.
And he could have called them Google Stadias, but he knew ain't nobody going to buy a Google Stadia. But this as a technology, this is interesting. More and more developers are offering server-based versions, cloud versions of their big games. And there are a couple big developers that are interested in this already.
Hey, Anthony?
Yeah.
What do you think sold more? The Google Stadia or the Soulja Boy console?
Oh, the Soulja Boy console. You got to remember, most of the people that have Stadias had them given to them.
Right.
And the Soulja Boy console, you had to pay for that.
Now, Soulja Boy does claim that he sold 5 million consoles.
That's in 28. That's a 2018 number. So
he was lying.
So that means by now he's sold 50 billion Soulja Boy consoles.
You're so right.
Soulja
Soulja Boy, of course, notoriously a liar.
Soulja Boy, of course, notoriously a genius.
What was that company he said he bought?
Atari.
He bought Atari.
He's the owner.
He bought Atari.
Atari called him up one day and they said, "You found the golden ticket, Charlie. Come down to the chocolate factory. You own Atari." Anyway, Google Stadia. There are companies that are interested in launching or in licensing the technology now that more and more server-based and cloud-based games are happening. One of them is Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
Bungie is talking. Can you imagine, no matter what device you have, you can play Destiny 2 on it? Not only have they already built it for Stadia, it was one of Stadia's big deal things when it launched, but they've already put all the bots in you need to play it on Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no more work to be done. You could be the only person that jumps in there and you can play with all the bots you want.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like they'll also be licensing out to not just other like platform holders for consoles and such, but they've also been in talks about like exercise equipment and various uses of the Stadia technology. Y'all, this is the end of Stadia.
The heart attack bikes. They mentioned the heart attack bikes.
The Peloton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's two television series where somebody has a heart attack on a Peloton. On two TV shows. And Peloton is like, you got to stop doing that. You're going to make people hate Peloton. And we're like, no, you don't understand. We're doing it because people hate Peloton.
Right. It's a joke.
It's a joke because of your very fancy, expensive exercise bikes for the wealthy and for the techie.
Right.
Like, you don't understand what we're saying. What two shows? It was the new Sex and the City and Billions both had people have heart attacks on a Peloton bike.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. You can't if you have a TV show right now, try to have a middle-aged man die on a Peloton bike if you can.
In the opposite of fitness news, let's talk about Meta.
Bill Nye, the real Bill Nye, is in the live studio audience. And he says he would have expected Grey's Anatomy, and you know what? It's not too late.
I hope it is. I hope it's too late.
How many more people have to die before Peloton realizes they suck?
I ask that about so many companies every single fucking day.
That's Bill Nye. That means that's science.
Oh, God. Don't start this. In other tech news,
Everybody,
Meta.
big round of applause for Bill Nye for showing up
God
today.
damn it, Anthony. Please let us move on. I'm begging you to let me move on. Meta, company formerly known as Facebook, of course, has been really, really focused on the meta, the VR, the virtual reality. And they were like, how do we get all of the awful people that use our platform every day to stop harassing each other?
Peloton.
It couldn't be us developing a toxic community of people who only come to our platform to spread hatred and vile disgust. No.
Put Meta on Peloton.
The solution is a little bubble. This is my safety bubble, and you can't come into it. You can put up a little safety bubble, and everyone has to leave you alone.
So they can only yell the horrible things at you from 4 feet away.
Correct.
Well, I mean, that's a step above VR chat, I guess.
So this says we are intentionally rolling out personal boundary as always on by default because we think that this will help set behavioral norms. And that's important for a relatively new medium like VR. In the future, we'll explore the possibility of adding new controls and UI changes, letting people customize the space of their personal boundary and the size of it.
I'm going to make a 100-foot personal boundary. And when I go into a public chat room, it's going to send everybody flying backwards. I'm going to use it like my superpower.
Now, this comes after a tech columnist for the BBC said that she had a very terrible experience in the Horizon Worlds from Meta, saying that men were taking virtual pictures of her and moving very closely to speak to her, and it sounded like someone was literally talking in your ear every time it happened.
Wait until you walk into a room and 3 people with personal bubbles on force you into the corner of the room with their personal bubbles. I feel that everything that they do, it's so weird that they're one of the biggest technology and internet companies in the world when everything they do points to them having never been on the internet or having ever used technology.
Now, you would expect this to happen. You would expect men to harass you if they have the ability to whisper in your ear on the internet. If you have ever, in your gaming history, put on a headset and had someone say, "Are you a girl?"
Yeah, if you've ever been around a dude online,
if you've
probably
ever
know.
had someone read your name and say it, and then, or just from hearing your voice go, "You hot?"
So, hey, good work on the bubble. I can't wait until people create like sumo wrestling rooms that are just about using your bubble to push the other person around. I think it's going to be really fun. I can't wait to explore the meta with all of you. Whenever, is it real already?
Yeah, it's real.
Is it real already?
Yeah.
I went to a VR chat this week where everybody was Spider-Man. It was called the Spider HQ or something like that. And you start off in a New York apartment, and you get web shooters, and they give you links to different Spider-Man avatar costumes directly in case you want to be a Spider-Man. And then everybody just crawls on walls and web swings around.
That sounds great.
It's wonderful.
That's lovely.
It's a lovely time. Do you know what's not a lovely time?
What?
Anything Facebook creates.
That's so true.
Anything they create. So much so, Saige, that the EU has basically said, "Hey, Facebook, knock off your bullshit." They've said, knock off your bullshit to a certain extent. And do you know what Facebook said?
What?
Do you know what Mark Hot Sauce Zuckerberg said in response?
Caked up Zuck.
Basically, the European Union said, "Hey, man, we've got privacy laws and data safety laws here in the EU that you don't have in the US. And if you have any European data interact with American data on American servers, you have to follow our laws. Sorry, those are European citizens. And it doesn't matter what server you route them to when they log on. You have to respect European law. They're European citizens." And Mark Zuckerberg goes, "Well, maybe I'll just have to shut down Facebook and Instagram in Europe." And everyone in Europe said, "Please
do it. You fucking won't.
Please do it." He's literally threatening to pick up his toys and go home.
Good.
And
we've been trying to get you to go home for so long, Zuckerberg, you fuck.
How do we just not be terrible here in the US anymore? What is it going to take?
Oh, it's too far gone. It's the United States. Founded on terribleness. It's too bad.
I mean, look, people are going to tell you that Europe wasn't founded on the greatest stuff.
Sure.
You know,
The question was about the United States.
you gotta turn it around at some point. I think this is the most hilarious thing in the world, where he just literally says, "Look, if they're not going to let us steal data, we'll just have to leave. If you don't let me shoplift, I'm not going to use your store anymore. Sorry, that's just the way it is, and you'll have to deal with those consequences."
Yeah, okay, get the fuck out.
All right, I will. But when I leave, I'm not coming back and vandalizing your store anymore.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is the last time you will ever see me opening up the food in your aisles and just eating it without paying for it.
Good, get out.
Okay,
Why haven't you left?
you gonna miss me.
No, why are you still here?
Hey,
Oh my
girl.
god, you don't look like you're leaving at all. What?
He's not gonna leave. This is like the shittiest temper tantrum. He's not gonna leave. They're gonna do what they've always done, and they're gonna be like, "Shit, if we leave, that's a lot of money. All right, we'll follow the law." That's what they're gonna do. That's what they've always done. They do it. They do it for China.
Yeah.
They do it for China for the horrible reasons China wants them to do it. They'll do it for Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll do it for Europe.
He's just gonna pout about it a little bit first.
Yeah, pout about it, buddy.
We actually
Get
have
on
another.
your weird tech boy surfboard, whatever the fuck that thing was.
Yeah, his little silver surfer.
It's his weird Peloton of the sea.
Yeah. We actually have another piece of just social media news. This one specifically is about Twitter, however. I think that it connects into everything we've talked about, social media and harassment, because Twitter has decided to make harassing people with opinions you don't like easier than ever. They are
thank
testing
God.
out a new feature.
I've been trying to get my Twitter time down.
Yeah.
But the problem is
It takes
harassing
long.
people takes so long. I gotta type out the harassment and I gotta send
right,
it as
and
a
you don't want
tweet,
to don't want to necessarily send that harassment publicly. Sometimes you see a tweet that's so bad that you want to hurt their feelings privately. You think that you have something private to say to them. So Twitter support posted a tweet that said, "For when you want to reply directly to a tweet's author, we're making it easier to DM them from your timeline to start a conversation. Now testing a DM icon on tweets with some of you on iOS. So that way, directly, when you see a woman, a whole woman on the internet, daring to exist, have an opinion, and a femme-presenting body."
Does she have her privacy bubble up?
She sure doesn't on Twitter. They said no privacy bubbles around here. You can just click on there and send that harassment targeted and directly, personally and privately. Things that you would never want people of the internet to see that you said publicly, you can just send directly to them.
Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm devil's advocating, because
No.
I don't want people to harass people. I don't want it to be easier for people to harass people. Is it functionally harder to click on a profile first and then DM than it is to just DM from a tweet?
Yes.
It's that much harder.
Yes. It's not about the difficulty. It is about putting the idea that you could send this thing that you might reply to me publicly
Mm-hmm.
directly to me privately and not be held accountable for it.
Oh, you don't want people to make that connection.
I don't want people to look at something that I've said on the internet, and men, we're going to be honest about the problem, to see the respond to privately and then just go, "Oh, great. I can just go and tell her to."
But it
Choke on it.
It doesn't override your DM settings, though.
No, you have, but like women shouldn't have to turn off their DMs.
No, absolutely not.
And I do. My DMs are completely off on Twitter.
Yeah. No, I get it. This is like the bike lock doesn't stop people from stealing the bike.
Mm-hmm.
They could get through the bike lock. It's just about, hey, if there are two bikes on the street and one of them isn't locked, they're going to go for that one.
Correct.
I understand. Listen, anything that Twitter adds
Mm-hmm.
that isn't a feature that allows you to block or silence people is literally just promoting harassment because of Twitter as a platform. Anything they add to Twitter is just like, fuck, they just added a new thing to the harassment machine.
Literally.
Like, there's nothing they can do.
Skywalker said, "Aren't DMs already private? Barely use Twitter." Yeah, DMs are private. but anyone can DM you in the default settings.
A fun thing is how many people I know, how many women I know especially, that were in gaming journalism who have to keep their DMs open for sources, to be reached out to, for all this stuff, for legitimate work reasons.
Yep.
If you're a reporter, you need ways for people to privately get in touch with you if they need to. All of the women I know that are in journalism are just like, yeah, my DMs are open, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's never anything useful.
I mean, for me as like a performer, I had my DMs open for a long time because DM requests were often how I would connect with potential work.
Brands and producers and people still like...
It's very common for brands to reach out to you on Twitter and shit like that. But I can't do that anymore.
I had to shut mine down during 2015 when shit was really bad in games. I have since opened them now. I've since opened them up again. Actually, I had to shut them down. I had to shut them down during the bad time in games, and then I had to shut them down again after The Last Jedi. Just for important stuff. I've only ever gotten death threats for really important stuff, like video games and The Last Jedi.
I think I shut mine down at the Snyder Cut.
That's fair. Mine were open during the Snyder Cut. Yeah, mine were open during the Snyder Cut, and mine were open during Batman versus Superman. I know, because I made that tweet about the guy who kicks the peaches in the beginning of Batman versus Superman, and I got harassment for 3 days about it.
So Twitter, this is a really fucking bad idea. That any one step that makes it slightly more inconvenient for someone to get into my DMs and send me a death threat is appreciated. Any little steps you can put in between us is appreciated.
Hey, listen, I know you gave us hexagonal NFT fucking profiles, and those are dope. Me and all my Bored Ape buddies who are just not funging things. No funge. All fun, no funge is what we say.
Yeah.
We're loving that. And
I do appreciate that it's a very quick signal of who not to follow or who to unfollow.
For sure.
That's been
fun. You see somebody with a hexagon, it's like, well,
we are not the same.
Now, all they need, and this is something they won't do, allow me to set settings based on whether people have a hexagon or not, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can present it as, now hexagons can set it so they can only talk to other cool hexagons, but they also give the rest of us a checkbox that's like, begone hexagons.
Yeah.
More like hexagons. Hey,
nice.
We try not to be an NFT show. It's hard. But I do want to talk about one thing. The super fungible token. The super fungible token is hilarious. This is an artist I actually saw him on TikTok talking about this. The super fungible token is something that he has created to show off just how stupid NFTs are, right? Because somebody was like, well, I own a JPEG, and they're like, you don't own the JPEG. You own the reference to the JPEG on the blockchain that lets people know. Sometimes it's you own a URL. Sometimes it's you own a specifically saved copy of this thing. It usually points to a link, right? Well, here's the problem with that, according to this artist. It's like, yeah, I point to the link, but the link doesn't mean anything either.
No.
He drafted up an actual NFT, and he said he minted this NFT on a platform, by the way, that it was the most environmentally feasible one. It didn't cost very much money at all.
It says on here, minted on the carbon neutral Algorand blockchain.
So, trying to eliminate as many, I want to do the art project, but I don't want the art project to do the same harm, right? But what he basically did was he created this. This is the super fungible token. Basically, there is an NFT, an electronic contract on the blockchain that points to super fungible token image.jpg. There's a real contract for this. Now, he burned the contract. He doesn't have the login to it, so it can't be bought or sold. He's not trying to make money off of this. But the problem with it, is, and what he's trying to show is, you can point to anything, and you can change it at any time. Yeah. Just because you point to a place on the internet with a blockchain doesn't mean that you're always pointing to the same thing. So it's image.jpg on superfungibletoken.com.
Mhm.
But the whole point of superfungibletoken.com is you can change that JPEG to anything you want right now. You can point that link to anything you want. Right now, it's a Club Penguin link.
I love it.
Last night I was there. It was a photo of Weird Al,
Oh, fuck yeah.
the best token to ever be funged.
Weird Al deserves the world.
And basically what he's trying to show is like, look, this is even more of a scam than people are talking about.
Mhm.
Not only can you right-click save,
Mhm.
but the thing that you're right-click saving doesn't even mean anything. It can change at any time. There's no security to these things. That's all he's trying to say. The token is funged, baby. The token is funged.
It's all funged. It's all fungin' games.
It's all... Lately, it feels like it is all fungin' games.
Doesn't it?
And I fucking hate it.
We have one more piece of businessy news before we get into some...
Wait, somebody says refresh. Yes!
Yes!
We are the fungible token! This is the only NFT.
Thank you, Harry.
This is the NFT, baby.
Hype to the Harry Horror Show, a member of the Pixel Circus family, for doing the good pixel work.
Baby, we're funged.
That's us.
I hope that somebody funges again. Yep.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh, it's Tingle. Oh, thank goodness it's Tingle. Look, if it's not going to be us, I'm
pickles are
so
in
glad.
the building.
If it's not going to be us, I'm so glad that it's Tingle.
The pickles are in the building.
Hey, everybody. Let me tell you something.
We're funging now,
We're
boys.
at like 3.8 thousand, not 3.8, at like 9.8 thousand followers on Twitch right now. A lot of people seem to be visiting this website. Maybe you keep putting up the Pixel Circus logo. Maybe people go, what the fuck is that?
Yo, this is
Maybe
like...
somebody makes an image that says, follow Pixel Circus on Twitter, on Twitch. I don't know, on Twitch, yeah.
This is the digital version
It keeps putting it up
of
there.
the people in my neighborhood who put stickers up of their OnlyFans everywhere.
Yes.
That's what we're doing now.
That's what we're doing, and I am not above it.
I'm not above it.
Absolutely not. Hey, we're really close to 10K. That's an exciting number.
10K is an exciting number. This
Very
was the
exciting.
photo of
That's
Weird
true.
Al that it was.
Excellent.
I
Oh,
haven't-
good.
I haven't reloaded it, but...
I love that. I think that's excellent. Okay, into our last piece of business news. Let's talk about Nvidia, Anthony.
Sure, let's talk about Nvidia. They ain't making those cards.
They are
can't.
not. They can't. And
They
you know
can't.
what?
No one can.
They were trying to do something that would maybe make it so they could, but it was big and bad and too much. So, Nvidia
Yeah.
was attempting to purchase the chip group ARM
Right.
for $66 billion. Ah! Look at us! Scroll down.
Get funged!
Look how
Get
cute!
funged!
I'm gonna keep spamming this site all day. Harry, you're my hero. Harry, we love you so much.
Get funged!
That's us.
We're getting funged.
Hey, New Ape Cum is getting funged.
Wake up, honey. Yeah, Nvidia's been trying to buy ARM for a couple of years.
Mhm.
SoftBank has been trying to sell ARM, which I think, honestly,
Mhm.
I think is crazy. ARM is on the up. Like, ARM is doing amazing things right now. Apple Silicon is based on ARM. They're using ARM for all of their designs and references. So many game devices are using ARM right now. Portable computing, like everything is moving to ARM processors.
Mm-hmm.
And SoftBank still is trying to sell ARM. I think that's wild.
Yeah.
I think it's wild.
Nvidia's offering a whole fucking lot of money. I mean, it was a $66 billion deal.
That's so not. I think that's, honestly, I think that is undervalued based on what we know about technology and business and how many things are using ARM right now. Nvidia was getting a deal.
Mm-hmm.
A deal on ARM.
That's too much money to exist.
It is. But, and listen, we all know that we don't believe anything should cost $1 billion.
Absolutely nothing. And no individual should have $1 billion ever.
Ever. But based on all the other sales that we've seen, it do seem cheap for ARM. SoftBank is, I don't know why SoftBank has been trying to get rid of it. I don't get what it is.
Mhm.
They just don't want it in their portfolio. Fine, whatever. Maybe they need a little more liquidity. But I'll tell you this. That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big deal.
Somebody asked how many Lucasfilms is that? Lucasfilms was $4 billion. Anthony, do the math.
4 into 60. That's a lot, baby.
So what did chat do the math?
That's a lot, baby. That's like 15 Lucasfilms or something. So
16.5.
What happened is, and this is such a theme today.
Mm-hmm.
Europe stepped in. Europe stepped in, specifically the UK, and the UK has been watching this deal like a hawk because ARM's headquarters is in England.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
Yep.
If Nvidia bought them, who knows where they would be moved to, if the European offices would be kept open. And also, the EU is just watching deals like this right now. In a way,
Someone has to.
Someone has to. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Thank God. Thank God when somebody is trying to do business that is done outside of the United States. When an American company is trying to do business outside the United States, it's better for all of us right now because the rest of the world is like, eat shit, bird dick.
Someone's going to keep a better eye on us than we will, you know?
Yeah. So, this is something I didn't know. Proton Beamed in the live studio audience says that ARM came from Acorn Computers. It came from the micros, the microcomputers. Pip, pip, cheerio. We don't like the Nintendo Entertainment System. We wanna play games in 4 colors. Bob's your uncle.
You're doing great.
Listen. The UK has been watching this deal like the proverbial hawk. And they didn't even try to step in and stop it yet. They were just watching it so much that Nvidia was like, oh, yeah, you're going to make this hard for us.
Okay, never mind.
Never mind. We just wanted a monopoly on all silicon.
Right.
We wanted a monopoly on all embedded and computing device silicon. That's all we want. That's all we wanted.
Is that too much to ask?
That's all we wanted.
Anthony, I know that's a $66 billion deal. I know it's a huge deal for the UK. I know it's a huge deal for Nvidia, but that doesn't fucking matter. Let me tell you about what matters.
Tell me about what matters, baby.
Live action Goosebumps series officially announced for Disney Plus.
How much Jack Black?
Motherfucking Goosebumps! I am so excited.
How much
Disney
Jack Black?
We don't know.
Is there any Jack Black?
There's been no information about Jack Black yet.
Okay.
The Goosebumps Canadian television series is one of my comfort shows
That's
to this
so good.
day. I love to just put it on. It's one of my favorite things. Goosebumps were my favorite books as a kid.
Do you remember the part in the theme song where it turns into a dog?
Yeah, of course. Eyes closed. Yeah.
Goosebumps is so good. Can I tell you, Disney Plus has been doing a little bit of horror and sci-fi for the kids.
Thank you, Disney Plus. It's me. I'm the kids.
They've been doing a little something for the kids, and I love this.
Reported by Variety, it says it will follow 5 high schoolers trying to save their own from a host of supernatural creatures. It sounds like it won't be an anthology series this time around, like the previous Goosebumps series, putting it more in line with the feature films of the original Nickelodeon television show that ran from 1996 to 1998.
I love it.
I'm very excited. I think this is really, really interesting. I just feel like the kid version of Fear Street is exactly what I want.
Dude.
Which is what Goosebumps is.
I was obsessed with the Fear Street books.
Did you watch the Fear Street movies?
No, I didn't. The ones that came out on Netflix last year? No, I've heard good things.
They were very good.
This is not, I have to check them out. This is not the first R.L. Stine co-pro that Disney Plus has done.
Mhm.
Friend of the show, Malcolm Barrett, was actually on Just Beyond, which was a horror anthology show.
Interesting.
That was on Disney Plus and was a co-pro with R.L. Stine.
I kind of want to see this.
You can tell they were testing the waters. What's it like to work with R.L. Stine?
And apparently worked for them.
And apparently it's good. Anthony, do you remember the early 90s show Erie, Indiana? You're fucking right, I do. Erie, Indiana. One of the greatest. Listen, I think it's on Disney Plus. It's available for free somewhere. But if you Erie, Indiana, oh, so good. So good.
I'm so excited about this. I'm going to watch this so fucking hard.
I think something that we've forgotten over the last few years is that kids enjoy horror.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We're so like, oh, I don't want to scare the kids. I don't want to scar the kids. Listen, there are certain things that you should not show children, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
But I loved being scared as a kid.
But a little bit of a haunted ventriloquist dummy, that don't hurt.
I mean, the Goosebumps books were my favorite fucking books as a kid. I have read so fucking many of these Goosebumps books, and there are a few things of my childhood that I have like a more positive association with than Goosebumps books. I love it so much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, people are like, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Are You Afraid
God,
of the Dark?
I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Even
Tales from the Crypt.
Bits of Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Tales from the Crypt was not supposed to be a family series, but
it was.
But it was. I watched a lot of Tales from the Crypt. A little bit of spookiness, a little bit of horror is good.
Mm-hmm.
Kids like to be scared within safe boundaries.
Yeah.
It lets them know they're safe. It's one of the ways that they kind of poke at reality and make sure that they're in a safe place.
Right. And that was really good adaptation news.
Yeah. What? Wait, why? What?
I've got worse adaptation news.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I guess.
Fox Entertainment has purchased the rights to Gumby.
Gumby is a nightmare.
And said, Fox plans to reimagine the green character through multiple live action and animated productions. Fox also plans to stream past Gumby series on its Tubi streaming service, plus develop new merchandise, including NFTs. No! How?
We have to keep people from funging Gumby. You can't funge the gumb. You can't funge the gumb.
Okay, we hate NFTs in this house, but is it weird that I'm having the most visceral reaction to the concept of live action Gumby?
Is it like when you say that Gumby is on Tubi, it sounds like a parody. It sounds like something that a tech executive would say in a movie.
Yeah.
Gumby's on Tubi now.
Gumby's funging over on Tubi. Now, naturally, this is a horror story. Gumby is terrifying, deeply disturbing. I just don't think we ever have to revisit it. I think it could be one of those weird things from the 50s that we just let go. The 50s fucked up a lot of stuff in our history. We could just let some of these things from the 50s go.
Do you remember
Not everything
Leisure
has to be
Town?
revitalized.
Have you ever seen Leisure Town?
No? What is that?
Leisure Town was some real peak internet that's basically based on Gumby and all that stuff.
Wow.
It's very good.
In not unrelated news, this is what I think of when I think of Gumby. This is the Gumby fan blog on Tumblr. We love Gumby.tumblr.com, which was like a kind of horror ARG around the worship of Gumby.
I love it.
It's great. I think we covered it on One Time on the Internet at some point. I'm like 99% sure I covered it on One Time on the Internet.
I remember us talking about it.
I'm fairly certain I did. And all of the One Time on the Internet episodes are both on this Twitch channel and on podcast platforms if you want to listen to a full breakdown of
Gumby.
that.
Let's talk about more adaptation stuff. There's a lot of adaptation news today.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm gonna take that down that you just put us on.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to bring us back
Let's
up.
Let's go.
X-Men 97 is coming to
Mhm.
Disney Plus. We know
Yes.
this. It was announced for Disney Plus Day.
Yes.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Mhm.
What did you get your mother for Disney Plus Day?
Batman.
Just Batman?
Yeah. I was very confused about the assignment.
I just got her the concept of Batman.
It's not going to be on Disney Plus, though.
So, X-Men 97 is coming without Batman. And the showrunners announced today they're actually going to pick up right from the cliffhanger finale that X-Men 97 ended on.
Now, I haven't seen X-Men 97.
One of the best theme songs ever.
I know the theme song. I think I'm going to have to go and watch it. How many episodes was it?
I was on for a couple years.
Okay.
It was on for a few years at least. You've got a lot of X-Men 97.
I got to at least get to the cliffhanger, you know?
But this was one of the things that planted the seed in a lot of people for like, hey, adaptations can follow the source material and care about it. Now, it's still corny. It's still over the top. It's still a 90s show.
Mhm. But
it was following like a lot of the actual comic book storylines. And they're picking up right from where it wrapped, which had Charles Xavier thoughtfully mortally wounded, potentially. And Lilandra, Empress Lilandra, was taking him into space to be cured by the Shi'ar Empire. Will they be able to do it?
That's very exciting. I love this. I love this respect for the source material so much. I love this respect for the 90s show of what we're picking up on. I'm so into this.
They're looking at 10 episodes for this initial run.
Uh-huh.
And if they have 10 episodes just to like finish up the classic storyline, I think that's great.
I think that's lovely.
You know, a few years ago, Marvel did an X-Men 97 comic book, which was great. Because, look, I want to like the X-Men more than I do.
Interesting.
I want to like the X-Men more than I do, but whenever I try to read X-Men, they're in the middle of some 50-book crossover, and they're 20 issues into it, and you have to have been reading X-Men for the last 10 years. And everybody's like, but if you just jump in, you'll get caught up, and you'll eventually know what's going on. It's like, I don't want to be confused.
I love the X-Men.
I don't want to be confused for 20 different books a month for 10 months, and then be like, oh yeah, I like X-Men. No, man.
Fair. All right, fair.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I tried to jump in with House of X, and they almost got me. They almost got me, and then they started talking about previous continuity, and a jetpack disappeared. So X-Men 97, I'm very happy. In other adaptation news, Thomas Holland.
Yes, sweet boy.
The sweetest of the boys. You think we're about to talk about Spider-Man. We're not. You think we're about to talk about Uncharted. Only a little. Tom Holland is, of course, doing press for Uncharted right now, which means everybody's trying to figure out fun things they can do with Tom Holland.
Of course.
That's what you do. How do we make our interview different than everybody else's?
Because everybody's getting an interview with Tom Holland right now. What can we get him to say that would be a fun bite that would be picked up by IGN? And they did it, kids. Tom Holland was discussing his dream video game adaptation. There we go. Pull that back up. And he said that he would like to be Jack in a Jack and Daxter movie.
That's fun.
I think that's pretty cute.
That's fun. I think it's fun live action. I think it's fun animated. I think it's more fun animated.
Of course.
But maybe it's more fun live action. He's got to wear like the ears and he's got to run around looking like a troll doll, like an extreme troll doll.
That'd be great.
What were the name of those troll dolls that they tried to make they said they were for boys and they were tough trolls?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Have you ever seen
these? I
these?
loved the Treasure Troll when I was a kid. I didn't know there were boys, that they were gendered.
Neither did I.
They were trolls.
Until they came out with like the
God,
tough
I think
trolls.
That's it.
Is that one of them?
It looks like one. Oh.
Yeah, this is it.
That's awful.
Yeah, these were the
trolls people were calling
battle trolls.
Fuck off.
I thought trolls were cool, and then they made battle trolls, and I was like, I don't know if I think trolls are cool anymore.
Yeah, we got to give it a gun for the boys.
Listen, it do have a gem in its belly, but also a machine gun flamethrower
in its heart.
In its heart.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I think Tom Holland would look like if he was trying to be Jack in a Jack and Daxter movie.
Like a troll doll with a gem in his belly and a machine gun in his heart.
Yeah, like a warrior troll.
I will say we did bring up a bit of Spider-Man. We will talk about that really quickly.
Pip, pip, a bit of Spider-Man with your BBC micros.
Spider-Man No Way Home has been announced for its first streaming service. And you might assume, right? Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Of course.
No.
Hey, maybe it's HBO Max because HBO Max gets a lot of big titles. Maybe that's the next one in line for you.
But here's the thing when you start thinking about it, Saige. It's not going to be Disney Plus because Sony's not going to let that happen.
Right.
None of the Spider-Mans are on Disney Plus.
Right.
It's not going to be HBO Max because that's DC.
Yeah,
and
DC's
they don't want
got
that.
it.
They don't want that smoke.
So, and it's not going to be Netflix because they've already ended a lot of their agreements with Netflix. So, naturally,
The biggest, highest grossing movie,
will be on Starz.
Pip Pip. Starz isn't even British. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Nope.
Starz is all like, listen, what do you think of when you think of Starz? You think of black sails and the sexy Scottish man who's not like other men.
I don't think of a single thing.
What's the sexy Scottish
I
man?
don't think of a single fucking thing, Anthony.
Outlander?
I couldn't tell you one show that's on Starz.
It's not Highlander, because Highlander's cool. What's the Outlander? It is Outlander. That's so wild. Ash versus Evil Dead is actually a good series, and that was on Starz. But how did we come to this? Where Spider-Man ends up on Starz? Why not Hulu? I'll tell you why not Hulu. Hulu's controlling interests are Disney and Fox. So Sony doesn't want that either because of spite. You'll be able to get it on PlayStation Now.
Spider-Man. How legally distinct could I possibly make a T-shirt that has a little Spider-Man face that's like looks angry? It says spite.
One of my
Man.
favorite sweatshirts is the 80s Batman,
Mm-hmm.
like swinging,
Yeah.
and it just says "Feels Bad Man" with like the 80s Batman logo.
That's excellent.
Um,
Spite or man.
so I think Spider-Man, I think you could get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so funny that Sony is like really, look, we get it. We get it. When it comes to the jewels of the Sony Pictures crown, what do they got? They got Spider-Man.
That's all they've got.
Hopefully,
They are
hey,
running with it.
I hope Uncharted works out for you. Mostly so you let go of Spider-Man. You're gripping so hard.
Honestly, you're suffocating him.
You are. This is a dude. You need to give the dude some space. You need to give the dude some space.
Hey, look, I understand you're protective. This is your baby. This is your kid. But look, he's just going to grow up to resent you if you don't give him a little bit of space.
Just give him a little bit of space.
Just give him a little bit of space. But Anthony, you did a perfect thing. You mentioned Batman.
I usually do. A perfect thing. Not mention
Because I
Batman.
desperately wanted to talk about Batman,
Always. You always do.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, the Batman himself.
The Batman. The gun that killed my family. I wear it on my chest.
Has been doing a lot of press as well.
Yeah.
And during an interview with GQ magazine.
Ooh. That GQ cover is, by the way, fire.
Where's that cover? I want to see the cover. You pull up that cover?
Yeah, I'll pull up the cover.
Robert Pattinson revealed how he would unwind on the set of the Batman. And he said, I'd be in the tent just making ambient electronic music in the suit, looking over the cowl. There's something about the construction of the cowl that makes it very difficult to read books. So you kind of have to almost lean forward to see out of it. So that was the only solution. He said the nature of the shoot was so kind of insular, always shooting at night, just really dark all the time. And I felt very much alone. Even being in the suit at all the time, you're not really allowed out of the suit with the suit on. So I barely knew what was going on at all outside.
I love this. You know, Heath Ledger was apparently making weird horror short films on the set of Dark Knight that he would like show Christopher Nolan. Man,
Look, I bet this is very like artistic and all of these things. And I truly believe that that's great. But picture for me, everybody. Join me on a journey here, okay? Let's venture into our minds and picture Robert Pattinson, the biggest headed scowling Batman with his full cowl on, okay? And his big suit. Standing over one of those little like button boards, something like this.
Standing
but a bit
over
larger.
FL Studio.
Yeah. while they're like calling shots and shooting a bunch of footage of Catwoman just making dark ambient EDM music.
Dark ambient means that Robert Pattinson probably brought some sort of rack mount synth to the set of the Batman. He was probably putting patch cables in as the Batman.
Barely able to see out of the suit. Unable to move his shoulders.
This is how Robert Pattinson wants to look when he's in GQ, and I love that about him.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't want that regular GQ stuff. This is his GQ photo shoot.
Interesting.
He's like, let's get weird in 90s with it.
That's beautiful.
That's a great photo.
Wow. That's pretty.
Wow, Batman, I love you.
Wow, pretty.
Batman, play me your dark ambient music. Batman, tell me about how your parents died again.
Oh my God, pretty.
Oh my God, Batman.
Batman, I didn't know
please.
you wore pink. I like it.
Batman.
Love a man in pink. He said that he also said that he watched a rough cut of the movie by himself, and he said that the first shot is so jarring from any other Batman movie that it's just kind of a totally different pace.
It just hits different, is what he's saying.
He said it just kind of hits different.
He's like, I guess my Batman just kind of hits different. I don't know. I'm not paying for this food. I'm just gonna eat it. You got to get out of the store, Robert Pattinson.
He said it was
Gotta get out of
what
the store.
Matt was saying from the first meeting I had with him. I want to do a 70s noir detective story, like The Conversation. And I kind of assumed that meant a mood board or something like that, like the look of it. But from the first shot, this is actually a detective story. I feel like an idiot because I didn't even know Batman was the world's greatest detective. I hadn't heard that in my life before, but it really plays in this movie.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the Batman movies.
Yeah.
It's not about being a detective.
Mhm.
And a lot of Batman comics. Listen,
You mean detective comics?
a lot of the detective comics are mostly about Batman. We'll get to it. They're mostly about Batman in space, fighting robots and zombies. Like that's mostly what the world's greatest detective does, particularly during Scott Snyder's run. But like, there's a lot of detective in detective comics, and I love that he name checked The Conversation. If you haven't seen The Conversation, classic Gene Hackman movie, very good. If you haven't seen this photo of Robert Pattinson in like some very 90s like Y2K gender fluid suits, I actually love. Should I have one of those suits?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like you can't be a beard guy in one of those suits. I feel like you got to be a clean shaven boy in one of those suits.
No, I agree.
I would have to shave.
Yeah. You shave quarterly.
I quarterly shave.
I look, as a demi-bisexual,
Mm-hmm.
I've never been attracted to Robert Pattinson before.
You don't have the power of a full bisexual? Is that what that means?
No, a demisexual, bisexual.
Oh, gotcha.
I've never been attracted to Robert Pattinson before because like he hasn't done anything funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well,
You gotta show that you have a little bit of goofy
he
humor
wasn't
about
nice
yourself.
to me and he didn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
Like that's not, I don't know him. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
But if he
then-
was ever nice to me once or made me laugh once,
But then,
tell me all about your parents and your dark ambient
but
music.
then he looked a little androgynous and I projected a personality onto him.
Yeah.
And now I'm into it.
Robert Pattinson.
The personality I am currently projecting onto Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson
Very
in a
attracted to
PS3
it.
ad. This is what I want.
Yeah.
You remember those like British PS2 and PS3 ads?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, we listen to The Prodigy and Aphex Twin, and we're gonna play Wipeout, and this console will fuck your mother. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like that's what they were doing over in England with video games while we were doing like,
Right.
don't tell it, my moms, get out of our room.
Right.
This is for us.
Yeah.
You know? And they were like, this PlayStation's gonna fuck your girlfriend. And then the DJ. Like, it was fucking weird, man.
Yeah. The PlayStation 2 at that time was crying in the club.
Yeah.
We were at the park while the British PlayStation was crying in the club. Yeah. No, I see it. Yeah. No, I see it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I see it now.
Yeah, now you kind of want to smooch him, right?
I've projected a really good personality onto it.
Right? Based on this photo shoot alone,
Uh-huh.
Based on this fucking Delia's ass club flyer fucking shoot that he just did.
Yeah. Based on him crying in the club.
We get it.
We get it.
We get it. Yeah, we were getting, you're right, Santo Hartono, or I'm sorry, Spin and Dash. The 21st century was on track to be so wild and awesome, and then we took a hard right turn. And we do mean a hard right turn.
Oh, a big right turn.
We do mean a hard right turn. In final kind of, well, I guess this is adaptation and tie-in news.
Okay, yeah, we don't have a lot of time.
That's okay. This isn't going to take much time. Or should we do a real story? Nah, let's do this one.
Yeah.
Let's do this one. There were big game stories that we didn't get to, but you know, that's the world, baby. I want to talk about Evangelion wedding rings. Evangelion has now released their third line of wedding rings. This is buck wild to me.
Third line?
This is the third line of wedding rings that they've. If you are getting married with, and I say this as one of the world's biggest Eva fans, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite things. If you're getting married and you want your wedding bands to be from Evangelion, go to couples therapy.
Yeah.
Both of you are a walking red flag.
And also normal therapy.
Go to all the therapies.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, listen, forgive your father. Forgive your father. You don't have to have him in your life, but you got to forgive him at some point. These in particular, Saige.
Yeah.
These are like $1,200 rings. These are based on this newest one is the Spear of Cassius.
Okay.
The Spear of Cassius. The previous one was the Spear of Longinus. The first one was the Spear of Gaius.
Okay.
These spears are not good.
No bad things?
These spears are so bad.
Oh, okay. So yeah, get married with a bad thing wrapped around your finger. I mean, look.
When they say Evangelion Death and Rebirth, they're talking about the spears. It's the fucking Hey, when we say the Lord of the Rings is about the rings of power.
Yeah. You shouldn't get married with the rings of power.
No.
Right. So that is how I feel about marriage.
I feel like, can I tell you something? I feel like Trisha Hirschberger would have gotten married with the One Ring. And she wouldn't have even thought about it.
Yeah.
She would have just been like, cool, it looks like the One Ring. And I'd be like, do you know what that's the ring of corruption.
And of course she knows.
But she's just like, these are just people who are like so into Evangelion. It's like, fuck yeah, Evangelion. Bum, bum, ba-da, bum, 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 cry in the corner. Like, no. The spears. The spears.
Mm-hmm.
They're only made for murdering, Saige.
Honestly, as someone who doesn't have any faith or belief or stock in the sanctity of marriage, I think it's a religious government scam. That's kind of funny.
Now, I'll tell you this. As not a wedding band,
Uh-huh.
the cheapest version of these rings, like sometimes they come in like silver versions that are like $90. I'd get like a Spear of Longinus.
Yeah.
To wear.
Yeah, just for fun.
Just for an Eva ring. Like I don't have to wear it like a wedding ring.
Right.
And they're, I'll say this. For being the spears that begin the end of time and the lament of mankind.
It's pretty.
Very subtle, very pretty. I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody, that is all of the stories that we have time for today. I'm glad we focused on the important things. Don't worry about everything that we left off. It's fine. Nothing else important happened. It's Too Early promises you everything that you care about and at least one thing you don't. But we do the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, except for when we don't. We will be here on Friday covering the Nintendo Direct, of course. So if you want to come and chat about all of the exciting things coming in the first half of the year from Nintendo, please join us at 8 a.m. on Friday. Of course, if you're not already following the channel, please do. We are at 9.8 thousand followers here on Twitch, which is massive. The channel has existed for less than 2 years, and fucking that's really cool. Thank you. We love and appreciate you very, very much. Of course, you can also find us together on Friday for Failed Save.
Yep.
Very, very exciting. We do have a special announcement coming about that probably today for Failed Save this week. And it's going to be a very good time. That'll be live at 7 p.m. Pacific, where you can see us playing Dungeons and Dragons together.
Yay! Also today, later this afternoon, we're about to leave to go shoot it right now. The finale of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, the Book of Baby Feet.
The Book of Baby Feet. Roberto Fettuccine had his season finale last night. We are, of course, part of Kinda Funny's Book of Boba Fett screencast, and we're going to have a lot to talk about today, so be sure to follow Kinda Funny if you do not already. Saige, what else is going on in your life?
That's an excellent question. Who the fuck knows? You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channels Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. You can find me on the Smosh Games channel all the damn time, the Black Dice Society on the D&D channel, and here on this channel the most.
You can also find me on the internet, not to brag, but I do have internet, at a Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni Twitch. You cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. Every Friday on We Have Concerns, which is my science comedy podcast with Jeff Kanata. And, eating ice cream.
Usually
watching
ice
a Star
cream.
War. Folks, do remember to buy your pickle dice.
Do you remember to buy your pickle dice? Do you remember to join the Discord? It's completely free. And hey, if you want a little more content from It's Too Early, you don't feel like you've gotten enough yet, you can always support us on Patreon as well, where you get a bonus clip from the show every single week. Just a bunch of extra content.
Woo! And we just want to thank everybody who directly supported us during the show today. We know so many of you support us in so many ways and have already supported us.
Just showing up. That's support, baby.
We just want to give a shout out to people who specifically supported us, let's face it, kind of monetarily, through during this show, because we need money, because we do this independently and we don't have jobs. So thank you to Martinis 42 at 6 for gifting that gift sub, to Jellybean 183. Thank you to Valatieri for gifting 3 subs, and thank you for subscribing yourself. Welcome, and thank you for your generosity. Kaleida, thank you so much for subscribing with that Prime subscription and taking a little Beezy bucks. Alonzo giving a tier 1 sub. Hey, Alonzo, you're one of our very good mods, and you don't have to do that. Thank you so much. Mr. Morones, thank you for the $50 tip, saying respect your hustle. Thank you. We sort of think of ourselves as the Gumby NFTs of people. Bebop Badger with the 5 gift subs. Faded J with the resub with Prime for 3 months. I Crichton with the resub for 9 months. That's a good chunk of time, I Crichton. Thank you so much. Clobag with the resub for 9 months, saying time well spent. Well, we are glad you think so, Clobag. Thank you for sticking around. Groovy Deadite with the 8 months. That's a long time, too. Danny Boy's Calling Pipes gifting a sub. Penguinutopia, thank you for the sub for 12 months. That's almost a Pixel Circus year, baby.
Almost.
Hopefully we'll see you back here next month as well. Thank you for your generosity. Skywalker9982 with the resub for 2 months. Has it been 2 months already, Skywalker9982? Flatlander73 with the resub for 6 months, saying, let's be honest, where else am I going to be at exactly 8 a.m., but with the finest morning show available? Pip, Spectrum ZX, Bob's your uncle, Spin Dizzy, Emily Green 1994 with the resub for 8 months. Old Man Jan with the resub for 4 months.
And we are caught up. Thank you so much for showing up for the show today. We love and appreciate you so very much, and we will see you on Friday. Take care.
Bye, baby.